There's very few things that might be more iconic in Texas when it comes to cooking meats, whether it's grilling or barbecuing. One of them is brisket, the other is a big old tomahawk steak. Hey barbecue lovers, Arnie Tex here, and today we're going to show you guys how to cook a perfect, juicy, delicious tomahawk steak. We're going to go put it in our Weber with a little indirect heat, reverse sear method, and then we're going to put it right over the coals and give it a little bit of flame kissed action, get that Maillard reaction going, get it up to temperature, which for me is somewhere about 135 or 38 degrees. For me, that's perfectly cooked ribeye, and then we're going to bring it inside, slice it, and show you what it looks like. On the steak, we're going to use a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of wow, and a little bit of OG. So with all that said, let's get this tomahawk steak trimmed up a little bit, get it seasoned, go put it on the fire. All right, now first let's look at this steak and see how much trimming we have to do. Just had one big piece of fat here. We don't necessarily have to get it all off. Remember that fat is flavor, number one. Number two, some of this fat here helps keep the steak together. So I'm not going to take it all completely off. Hopefully this steak will stay together. It normally has a band of fat or connective tissue that kind of holds this whole steak together on that side and on this side. This is the spinalis, which is the most prized part of any ribeye steak. Let's go ahead and finish trimming this a little bit. Gonna get just a little bit of that fat off, and let's get to seasoning and let's start cooking. So let's put a little bit of olive oil on there. Don't get too crazy and go putting a whole bunch like I just did. All right, let's put a little bit on that side. Since we got so much, let's go ahead and rub some over here. And let's rub some here on the sides as well. All right, there we go. Cool deal. Big old tomahawk like this, it's gonna sweat off some of that seasoning. What I highly recommend is that you season it a good 4 or 5 hours or even overnight for best flavor. You want that salt to melt, dissolve, penetrate deep down into the meat, carry some of the flavor and some of the moisture with it. So we're going to do that. Put a nice coat of OG. We're going to put a nice little coat of wow. We're just going to pat it down right now. I'm going to put a little bit of both on my cutting board here so we can put it on the sides as well. Again, we're going to put a little bit more OG here on this side. Put a little bit of wow. That is pretty much the response we're getting from everybody that's buying this rub. All right, so we have a little extra seasoning here. Let's pat that down so it doesn't fall off. And let's go ahead and put it on the sides of our steak here too. We're going to let that sit for about 30 minutes while we go get our fire going. Then we're going to put it into our Weber kettle. We're going to put it in direct for about 30 minutes. Kind of let it get up to temperature, get a little bit of smoke on there. It adds a little bit of smoke flavor to your steak. It also helps get that internal temperature start coming up so that when you throw it on that fire, you get that nice, great Maillard reaction, get that nice char without overcooking the outside and still getting the internal to the temperature that you want it to be at. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little piece of pecan, drop it in here. I'm going to take my tomahawk and lay it in right here just like that. Now I'm going to take my Inkbird thermometer and I'm going to set that right here. And we're going to monitor it. I'm going to close this up. Go ahead and run this wide open. We don't want any bitter smoke. We want that little piece of wood to get up to temp and have some of this pretty blue smoke you see right here. That looks just right. We're going to smoke it on this side about 10 or 15 minutes. Then I'm going to flip it over. Make sure we get nice even smoke and color on both sides. What we're going to do after that, we're going to come over here and fire up our little Pro Pit bullet. And we're going to give it some live flame action. Put that perfect Maillard reaction on there. We're looking at about 57 degrees right now. I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick that up, but 57 degrees internal temperature. We're going to try to get it up close to 100, somewhere right around there. Either way, I'm only going to give it about 30 minutes. You can see there's plenty of smoke, so we'll be in good shape. All right, barbecue lovers, it's been approximately 18 minutes. I'm sitting at 106 degrees on internal temperature on the inside of the steak. I'm going to flip it. I had not flipped it just yet. I went ahead and rerouted my cord because it was hard to check the lid, hard to put the lid on and off. You can see here, I just basically did a flip over this way. The heat was on this side of the steak a while ago. Now we're gonna get it on this side of the steak. There we go. Let's let that sit there for a little while. We're only gonna give it about 5 or 6 minutes on this side because I'm already at 117 degrees. I do not want to get past 120. So we'll be back here in a couple of minutes. Pull it out. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and load up my little Pro Tip bullet. I'm gonna get me a little fire going here so we can give it some flame-kissed flavor in just a minute. You can see that it looks really nice. Have pretty little color, nice little smoke on both sides. Looks good, man. Looks real good. And I'm gonna get my traditional onion here. Give it a little poke. Clean the grate, make sure it's nice and sanitary. All right, here we go. All right, steak lovers, it's time to throw this tomahawk on here. Yeah, buddy. All right, we're looking at about 30, 45 seconds. Flip. Remember, we like to do the flippity flip. I'm gonna back it up a little bit right over that fire. Flippity flip. Looking good, look at that. It's hot. This steak's gonna be really good. A little bit of onion flavor too. That's really good. Right over the fire. Flippity flip. Flippity flip. We want to check the internal temperature. Looking at 120, 125. Not sure if the camera's going to pick that up because it's 124, 123. Got a little ways to go. That's okay. That's what we want. We want to make sure that we caramelize the outside of that steak, give it that really good char. Flippity flip. Look at that. Looking good. All right, a little bit cooler on this side. We want to finish it off a little bit slower now. Got some nice crust here. Nice little char. Not quite there yet. We're 125, 125, 136, way over here by the bone. You always have to know how to read your fire. At this point, I'm getting a lot of nice, pretty char, but I don't want to get that burned char. I just want that beautiful, delicious char. So I pulled it away from the direct heat there, a little bit more indirect. It'll continue to cook for about another few minutes. When it hits about 130, 132, we are ready. Normally, I like to run them up to about 135, 138. I think this one with the indirect heat, it's going to be just right in the low 130s. One of the things about steaks like this that has 3 different muscle groups, you've got one that's 130, 129-ish. This one over here, the cap is already at 136. The eye is right around 132. I think this steak's done. We don't want to overcook the cap. We want it to be just right. I'm gonna give it about 2 more minutes and we'll be done. Last flip of the day. Last flip of the night. 139, 138-ish. We're done. Look at that beautiful steak right there. Isn't that gorgeous? Just beautiful. All right, we're gonna run this beautiful steak inside. We're gonna let it rest for a little while our potatoes are done, and then we're gonna cut right into it. We have our beautiful tomahawk cooked. We ran it up to about 132 to 135, depending where I actually probe the steak. You remember there's 3 different muscles on here. They don't always all render at the same time. Most of the time I notice that the spinalis, the cap up here, will cook a little bit quicker than the rest of the steak, if all other things being equal heat-wise on the bottom. Got a beautiful char, gorgeous Maillard reaction going there. You can see that it just looks really, really nice. We had some beautiful potato wedges that I cut up out of a big old russet potato. They cooked up really nice, and even look at that, just beautiful. All right, let's cut into this without any further ado. See what our beautiful steak tastes like. All right, let's cut this muscle first. Look at that. Perfect pink center. Just beautiful. All right, now this muscle right here looks really, really nice. You can see that gorgeous, warm pink center, we like to call it. Just looks perfect. That looks really nice. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the rest of this. All right, now let's try the spinalis. Let's see what the spinalis looks like. This is called the cap, or the spinalis. And it's looking like it's just perfect too. Look at that. Has that real pretty char, just gorgeous. Looks really nice. Perfect medium right there. It looks really good. Let's keep cutting here into the rest of the steak. All right, that looks really good to me. We're gonna go ahead and cut this part too. This has a little bit of fatty. That's the good stuff. All right, here we go. That looks just really good, honey. I think you should come over here and take a bite. All right, let's see. This is the spinalis. This is our big old bone. You can see here we have this gorgeous steak here. All right, here we go. That looks really good there. Gorgeous little piece of steak there. I love that crust, that little char that we put on there. And let me move this stuff out of the way. And this here is the spinalis, as you can see here. That looks really, really nicely perfect. Just perfect. And you can see some of that fat still on there. I'm okay with that. I'd rather trim it off afterwards than trim too much off at the beginning and not get that amazing flavor. Let's see what this big old steak tastes like. Look at that. I love that little char, man. Perfect pink center. Wow. That is really, really delicious. What I really like about that steak is I can taste that pecan smoke in there. In addition to the little grilling action, the little char, the seasoning, all balanced out really, really well. I'm gonna try one of these potatoes too. I put a little bit of wow on these potatoes and a little bit of olive oil. Oh, baby. I love that stuff on potatoes. It's just amazing. Folks, I'm telling you, you gotta try this stuff on your baked potatoes or your grilled potatoes or any potatoes. It's just fantastic. It's wow. Folks, I hope you get some value out of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you keep enjoying the videos that we continue to put out. If you do, please hit the like button. Remember to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button down there so you don't miss any of our videos. That way you get notified. Make sure you check out our OG and our WOW seasonings. There's a link there for pitmaster.us. Remember to keep the smoke light and make it work, folks. Boom! This is a beautiful choice brisket. All right, we're gonna finish off our potatoes here. We're gonna give them a nice little char too. I'm gonna eat more potato and steak. No, that's such a good potato. That steak's amazing too.